starting to accept it, you know, every time it would happen. And but after a while, I tried to fight it, in other words.
Regardless of what I tell you, when that moment comes, you stand alone. I can tell you, don't be afraid, lean into it, go towards it, put your spirit into it. But when that moment comes, like I said, there's a special hormone that triggers in your brain that tells you should you go or not. I can tell you, don't be scared. Yeah. It's easy. Don't be scared. Now. But when it happens,
after a while, I wasn't though. I tell you, after a while, I got used to it, and it was like, you know, it was all right.
But then it's all right. That's because something in your aura received this energy and said that it's safe. The same way you look at a person, if they're not frowning, you figure you can walk up to them.
Right.
Well, the spirit does the same thing. It gets around people. Your mother many times told you, I don't like that boy. I don't know much about him. I don't want him in my house. There's something about him I don't like. That's called mother's intuition. You have this inside of you where you can look at people and you can evaluate their goodness or badness. The same thing happens spiritually. People get around you and they have a negative aura. You know it. A lot of human beings have a dog and they'll tell you that the dog won't bite you. Don't worry, my dog won't bite you. You look at the dog looks at you like, yes, I will. I won't bite her because I won't bite the hand that feeds me, but I will bite you because you are what she feeds me.
Also, I guess on the same subject, I saw, you know, like sometimes I'll see shadows and whatnot in the form of men. Sometimes this hasn't happened for like a couple years, but like around 1980, I think it was, or 81. You know, I saw this shadow of a man a couple of times, and I thought it was my buddy that was, you know, my roommate up in school. And then after that, I would see like little shadows moving across the floor in the air. You know.
Your problem.
I'm not making it this up. You know, I'm not. You
don't have to say that to me. See, I'm not that type of person. You don't have to say that to me. Because I've been having to tell people I'm not making this up for years, so I can understand your feelings.
I hear you.
All right. The thing is, your eyes are open. That's all. Not those two eyes, but when Jesus said, "Let your eyes become one," that one eye, your third eye, is open. You're looking from this world right into the next world simultaneously. So you might see anything. You've got to learn. I'm serious. You've got to learn to discipline yourself. You've got to cut them bad habits.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
You've got to learn to discipline yourself. You've got to change your diet. You've got to learn to fast and pray. You've got to read your scriptures because you're connected to both worlds. And when the angelic beings can no longer make contact with you, they will remove themselves from your presence and you'll get plagued by demons.
By demons?
Yes, many times you meet a person, you say, this brother's very spiritual and he has a lot of beautiful things to say, but you know he has these bad habits. Yeah. And next thing you know, you see him on 42nd Street. I'm serious. It's not funny. It's very serious. You see him as a bagman because the angelic beings realized they couldn't reach him, so they stepped away. And the demons attacked him and took his body and sent him crazy. And this is happening to our people all the time. And it's very difficult once the demon gets a hold of you inward and outwardly for anybody to exorcise him away from you.
Is that why sometimes like when it's real cold out, my forehead, it get real hot? Can you explain that?
Yeah, exactly. So will your ears. And oftentimes, people whose bodies stay at a very high temperature, y'all are healers. So that means there's an abundance of electrical current running through your body. You have the power to put on hands and heal. But you've got to learn to channel it. Yeah. Because the devil or the demons want people like you better than they want a person with cold hands. They want people that have that power. That's just genetics. It's in you genetically, that's all. So there's nothing to fear. The fear is that if you don't discipline yourself.
Right.
Now you got to be careful because when a white person looks at you, don't you notice they look at you different in the way they look at everybody else?
They look like they want to kill the brother.
I don't want to send you crazy now because I can mess around and send you crazy by saying too many things that are right. Yeah, but you understand, he knows the angelic beings who are ascending from the angelic beings who are descending. And he can feel it and he can humiliate you. Let me tell this to the mothers in there. He will humiliate your son in school and keep telling you that your son is a bad kid, because he sees in your son righteousness. And your son cannot comply to the laws of Caesar because he's been groomed to comply to the laws of the Most High spiritually. You send him to the public school, and in that school, those teachers see him, look in his eyes, and see that that's an angel, and start torturing him and saying he's stupid. Not because a child does not learn how to read and write the devil's language, it doesn't mean he's stupid. It means that he was smart enough not to let it assimilate itself in him. Yeah. He could be being protected by beings waiting for the truth. Don't always assume your children are dumb because they don't adjust to the white man's society.
Right.
The devil can look at the righteous, see them, and torment them. He sets out to torment them. You understand? He makes life difficult for them at their jobs, in their school, when you go shopping. Certain Negroes walk in the store, the white man pays them no attention. As soon as you walk in the store, can I help you?
Yep.
And you look at yourself and say, I don't look like a criminal no more than anybody else. But the devil senses something in you and he wants you.
The question that I'm going to ask you, right? Revelation chapter 21, verse 2. It speaks about the tabernacle, right? And relating to the tabernacle is within man. Now, is that relating to this community right here? And if it is,
where in Revelation chapter 21
verse 2,
where does it say that it's in man?
It says, behold, the tabernacle of Allah is with men.
Verse 3.
That's right.
More than one.
That's right. It's with them. That's right.
So
but listen what it says. And see what you did is you jumped to 3. If you read number 2 and 1, you'll see that it comes down out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adorned for the wedding. So it's something that's going to come out of the heaven. It's a place. And if you read all of 21, it actually goes into describing its size and the doors in it and the stones that activate it. The amber colored lights, it's a ship. They're talking about a large ship. I think I gave a class on last week all about this section. So it's not a spiritual incarnation into people. It's an actual place. It has walls and a floor and a foundation. And the terminology in the language that it's in, in the original language, other than English, it's talking about a place, not a mental thing.
Right. Next I want to ask you, right? They speak about the 7 angels. It was hard for me to understand. That's why I have to bring it forth to you.
Well, there's different kind of angels in here. There's angels of plagues in the Revelations. They have 7 angels with 7 vials. Then they have the 7 spirits which are before the throne. And those are the 7 archangels who are under Michael. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the Bible, especially the book of Revelation, speaks of 7 angels 7 different times. And they're not always the same angels.
So what they're distinguished,
Oh yeah, there's millions and millions of angels. Angels are beings like you are. And they multiply the way you multiply. They are beings. They marry. There's gender. There's males and females amongst them. They do everything you do. In the Holy Quran, chapter 37, verse 150, will tell you that angels are females.
You said chapter 37?
Verse 150.
150, right?
I don't have my Quran.
You don't have it? Could somebody read it for him?
Or did we create the angels female while they were witnesses?
You see? It says Allah did not create the female angels while men were looking on. See, man didn't see that. So man is under the impression all angels are men. But the Quran tells us that there's female angels. So they reproduce. Like you, the angels are people. They're beings. They just existed before the creation of your world and have evoluted further than you are now. You're evoluting towards that anyway. You're becoming more sophisticated. You're doing more things spiritual than you all do physical anyway. So you're on that evolutionary scale or that evolutionary elevator towards angelic state also. Go ahead.
Okay. There is supposed to be no giving and taking of marriage in heaven. And then you did mention something about there being female spirits and they do marry with the males.
First of all, when they speak of no giving and taking of marriage in heaven, they're talking about after Yom al-Akhir. Okay? After the end of the world, as you know it. When in Revelation they say they're going to usher in a new heaven and a new earth. So the laws pertaining to heaven and earth after Yom al-Akhir is going to be different than the way they do now. Because Scripture mentions the fact that angels are females, they use the gender mala'ikat. They point it out. Alright? And that Iblis himself was a young jinn at one point, okay? There stands to reason if there are male angels like Jibrail, Mikael, female angels, and himself, Azazillah, was once a child, what does that imply to you and I? That they do have involvement. Angelic beings, I'm trying to establish in your mind that angelic beings, the way the Christians have given it to you is wrong. They've given you this ghost-like feature, this little fat white baby with wings or some blonde